Reformation. European thinkers tried to remold religion by protesting against the Roman Catholic authority between the 13th to the 16th century AD. The reformers were divided into two groups over the course of Reformation. The first group was of the opinion that the Roman Catholic Church was totally worsened. They thought of boycotting the Church. The second group had the ideology that the Church and religions can be reformed by sticking to it. The religious reformation of the 16th century was greatly influenced by the first group. Reformation is a very effective means of social transformation. Reformations are carried out intentionally to achieve certain objectives. It is not an easy process. The reformers have to create a favorable public opinion and then begin the movement. The European scholars and thinkers brought about the religious reformation and awareness among the people. Dominance of religious institutes. In the 16th century, the Pope was the supreme religious power and the head of the Roman Catholic Church. He had great political, social, and religious influence during that time. His authority was considered as divine. Religion controlled the behavior and the daily life of the people. Even royal authority was subsidiary to the Pope. The Pope had the privilege of dethroning and ostracizing the king from the religion if he disobeyed the Pope. The interference by the Church in political matters led to conflicts between the European rulers and the Pope. The Church owned large properties and land all over Europe. The churchmen and priests were no more interested in religious matters. On the contrary, they had become pleasure-loving and hedonistic. Many malpractices started. The Church became the center of corruption. Bribery, collection of wealth, and the sale of indulgences were found in abundance. All these evils made the Church the center of business. The common people were sidelined from religious organizations. The European thinkers raised their voices against the functioning of the Church. John Wycliffe. John Wycliffe was regarded as a pioneer of the Reformation movement. He was the first to criticize the Church and to lead the Reformation. Therefore, he was known as the morning star, Venus of Reformation. He was a professor at Oxford University. Wycliffe translated the Latin Bible into simple English that could be understood by the common people, who had no knowledge of Latin. He inspired the people to follow the Bible instead of the authority of the Pope. He established an organization of poor clergies. He also started a movement to protest against the absolute power of the Pope. He openly challenged the superstitions of that age. As a result, he was dismissed from his job at Oxford University. After his death and burial, his body was unearthed and thrown in the dumps. Johnhuss. Johnhuss was a professor at the University of Prague, Germany. He was profoundly influenced by Wycliffe. Huss criticized and condemned the Church and emphasized that it must be reformed thoroughly. He revealed the real meaning of the Bible and disclosed the hypocrisy of the clergy. Due to his efforts, the movement of Reformation reached Bohemia. The churchmen decided to punish Huss with a death penalty for his anti-religious thoughts. He was burnt at the stake. Erasmus. Erasmus was a great proponent of Reformation. He was a profound learner of theology in Holland. Erasmus was a humanistic thinker. He wrote the book, titled In Praise of Folly. He strongly condemned the Church. In his satirical style, his criticism caused great damage to the loyalty of the priests. His writings made the people aware. He also strengthened the movement of Reformation. Erasmus never openly agitated the Church. He criticized it only through his writings. Zwingli. Zwingli was a priest in Switzerland. He fought against the Roman Catholic Church of his country. Zwingli criticized the hypocritical behavior of the priests. He insisted that the people should not consider the Pope as the authority, but only the Bible as the authority. Zwingli was the founder of the Calvin sect in Switzerland. He started campaigning for his new religious ideas. He insisted that the Church should not be the whole and sole authority of the Pope, but the democratic center for all Christians. This would allow ordinary people to participate in it. He abjured the Catholic sect. Zwingli lost his life in Kappel in the year 1531 AD during a conflict with the followers of the Pope. The works of Zwingli spread the Protestant sect in Switzerland. John Calvin. John Calvin was born in France, but he lived in Switzerland because he was exiled from France. He was a lawyer by profession. Calvin studied theology and philosophy very deeply and wrote the book Institutes of Christian Religion. He provided the philosophical base to the Protestant sect. According to Calvin, the people should read the Bible, listen to the sermons, and follow the principles in the Bible. The people should engage themselves in common prayers. They should avoid festivals, functions, merrymaking, sports, and dancing. All these would maintain religious discipline. Because of his extreme anti-democratic views, the people called him a Puritan dictator, and his sect is called Puritan. Calvin's thoughts influenced the people of France, Netherlands, Germany, Hungary, Poland, Scotland, etc. His ideas and thoughts accelerated the Reform movement. The beginning of Reformation. The Reformers produced many literary works for reformation in religion. They founded various organizations. The Reformers explained the meaning of true religion in simple language which reached the common people. At that period, Pope Leo X had begun to construct St. Peter's Church. He began to raise funds for the construction. In order to collect funds, the Pope started the sale of indulgences. The people were told that they could absolve themselves of their sins and could secure a place in heaven by purchasing these indulgences. Ignorant people bought them in large numbers. They were deceived by the Pope. The Reformers protested and agitated against papal power. Many European rulers supported the Reformers against the Pope, as the Pope's interference in the matters of state had also increased. In this way, the movement of Reformation spread widely. Martin Luther. Martin Luther was born in 1483 AD at Olibern to a poor family of miners. Luther was a professor of theology and philosophy at Wittenberg University in Germany. He was known as a loyal monk and a great thinker. He became restless on watching the contradictions between the behavior of the priests and the true preaching of Christianity. Luther publicly opposed the selling of indulgences by the Pope. He published his 95 Theses against the sale of indulgences. He nailed these objections on the doors of the church at Wittenberg. Martin Luther challenged the Pope's authority. He translated the Bible into German language. He had to leave his job as a professor. Luther traveled all over Europe and propagated his ideas. He rejected the Pope's monopoly over the church. Martin was of the view that every nation should establish its church. There should be personal liberty. It is the Bible and not the Pope that should be regarded as authority. There should not be any place for rituals in religious activities. The relationship between the worshipper and the worshipped is purely an individual matter. Martin stated that the state's authority should be greater than papal authority. Luther encouraged nationalism. His idea of liberty by faith was appreciated by the Europeans. Many rulers, knights, middle class, and common people supported Martin Luther in the movement against the church. Luther and his followers protested against the Roman Catholic Church. Therefore, they came to be known as Protestants. Later, Protestants became a distinct sect of Christianity. The sect which was upheld by Luther is known as Puritan. Consequences of Reformation. Reformation curbed the injustices of the Church. This movement promoted the concepts of individualism and liberty. It caused the emergence of new values and ideas in Europe. A new sect, known as Protestant, appeared in Christian religion. Similarly, many subsects appeared. To spread the ideology of new sects, many religious books were published in Europe. The Bible was translated into various European languages. The preaching of the Bible reached the common people. The people were acquainted with the knowledge of their religion. It caused a great shock to the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope's authority. The influence of the Pope in politics and the Church came to an end. Every nation established its own religious organization and brought it under the control of the state. The king became the head of political and religious organizations. This led to the rise of absolute monarchy. The European countries were divided into Catholics and Protestants. They fought many battles. Many countries became independent. It motivated nationalism. Europe witnessed changes and developments in education, trade, commerce, etc. Individualism, personal property, human rights, and liberalism were encouraged. The Reformation took place in England in the 16th century. Ignatius Loyola of England established the Society of Jesuits. This organization provided new ideology to Catholics. It opened hospitals for the downtrodden and schools for education. It undertook the task of spreading Christianity around the world. The Pope also supported the Reformations. These reforms initiated by the Pope are known as counter-reformations.